So hello everybody, welcome to another level up. Today we're talking about how to play Elder Signs as a story game. Now, this basically came about because I usually play Elder Signs as a campaign, and I'll put a link to my campaign rules below. And what happened was me and my brother played the campaign about basically 30 to 50 times, Elder Signs basically 30 to 50 times, and the world has basically ended about, well, 3 times. Because also that the new expansion is really hard. So basically we can't continue the story pretty logically anymore. So we ended the campaign, and when we end the campaign, without the story, we don't play the game as much. And what happened the other day? So I just took it out and we tried playing it, and I just started fiddling with the cards and came up with these rules to play a story game with Elder Signs. It's basically like a filler. So the gist of the game is basically like a tall stories of Baron Munchausen. Alright, so the person telling the best story wins, and the theme is your bunch of people in the investigators network sitting in the cafeteria, and you're telling old war stories of how you stopped the Great Cthulhu or the Yeg or so on. Alright, so now everybody at start, basically this game also pretty much is a 3 players or more story game, because at the end people have to vote on who tells the best story. But unless you really am sure that the person you're playing with is gonna be honest, you can't play a 2-player. Unless, like I say, unless you know the person is honest enough, then you can play 2-player. But after that, you basically have this basic setup. Alright, you put 3 of the location cards. If you don't have the expansion, you just use the normal museum card. Alright, and you put it out, and these can be use one of these as a starting location for your story. After that, you also choose a random outward card. To me, it's best if everything was random. A random outward card, and a random elder god, and a random monster. So you then pick a character, and you get the requisite items. And then after that, you get 5 of these cards, the tarot cards. And the rule is pretty simple, that you can either use the picture or the words. You can't use both, you can use one. Alright? Same thing for the 2 cards here. This one will of course be the Elder God, but for this one, you can, if you want to, you don't have to use Riley, you can use the example, this looks like an altar. So basically that's how it is. So I'll give you an example turn. So for example, I was Harvey Walters, so it will start something like this. I, Harvey, played Walters. One day when I was praying to prevent my insanity in the chapel, I fell asleep. In the church, and when I woke up, I found strangely the front gate ajar. When I walked out, on the brick of the wall was glowing strange writings on the wall. Intrigued, I pulled out the eldritch runes and brought it to my antiquarian friend. Instead of seeing my friend, I found a wicked old man. He turned at me, and with glowing eyes, I could feel the evil energies pulsing. I knew he was a cultist, thus summoning the shriveling spell I had learned in my time battling Cthulhu. I used it upon him, and he melted, and he was nothing but goo, eyeballs and all on the floor. But in the goo, I found the palette mask, and I looked at it, and the runes gave me intense knowledge, a place, a thing to stop Cthulhu. I found that now I knew where to find the Elder Signs to prevent his waking. The end. So basically that's how you would, for example, tell a story, then it would end. And then the next person would do the same thing, everything be randomized for him, and you each take a turn telling the story. Then basically everybody simultaneously reveals who they think is the best storyteller, or is telling the truth in terms of the theme. This can be done again, like I said, you gave example 3 players, each person gets 3 cards, then they reveal how many cards they think of who's the best player. Example, player 2, they'll raise 2 cards from under the table, so on and so forth. So that's how you play. Thank you very much, till next word.